Henry Ford once said that if he had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. If he had given them faster horses, he would have been taking a step from 1 to N. But instead of doing that, Henry Ford decided to think for himself and introduce the world to the automobile. And in doing so, he took a step from 0 to 1. Taking a step from 0 to 1 is important for two sets of people. First off, it's important for society. It's what's brought us from the Stone Age all the way to smartphones, space travel, and all the medicine that we have today. Going from 0 to 1 is also important for the founders of these companies. It's what separates them from everyone else. It's what makes the Steve Jobs, the Zuckerbergs, and the Bill Gates. By taking a step from 0 to 1, you can vastly improve your fortune and change the world. To make these leaps from 0 to 1, Thiel gives us 4 pieces of advice that all entrepreneurs should go by. Thiel's first piece of advice is to be bold. Stop coming out with incremental improvements on your competitors like a new financing option or new cup holder. Create a totally new product for your customers. Thiel's second piece of advice is that a bad plan is better than no plan. And what he means by this is that it's better to have a vision, to be constantly working towards your goal instead of just working a little bit and then waiting for your customers to give you some feedback and then working again. By having a vision, you will totally bypass this and take that step from 0 to 1. Thiel's third piece of advice is that competition destroys profits. And what he means by this is that you should avoid competition at all costs. If you look at any marketplace, the more people that enter, the smaller the profit sharing goes. It's just like a piece of pie. If there's only 2 people eating it, then you're each going to enjoy a larger piece. But as more people see how much pie you're enjoying, the more people are going to come in and want a piece. And the more people that come in, the smaller the piece of the pie you get. Thiel's fourth piece of advice is that sales matter as much as product. Every engineer gloats that they can build a product that is so good that it can sell itself. But at the end of the day, that's just bogus. There's no product that is good enough to sell itself. People need to be aware of these products and they need to know the benefits of them. You need to promote your own value. What value are you adding to people's lives? Only then can you make sales. Thiel's principles are good in theory, but how do you apply them in the real world? Well, Thiel reveals that all startups are small at the beginning. We also know that a monopoly owns the majority of a market share. So if we can do some basic math, it's easy to see that a startup should start off aiming to win a monopoly share of a small niche market. But your problems aren't only about when you start up. It's also about when you become a monopoly and how you protect yourself. Here, Thiel reveals that there are 4 characteristics that all monopolies share. First is proprietary technology. This is something like Google's search algorithms. And a good rule of thumb is that your technology should be at least 10 times as good as your competitors. Then there's network effects. This is something like LinkedIn or Facebook. Thiel explains that network effects are important, but they must start out with exceptionally small markets in order to work. He explains how Zuckerberg's first product was not aimed to attract all the people on Earth, but to just get his classmates to sign up at first. Then there's economies of scale. Thiel explains that all great startups should have some ability to scale built into the very first design. By definition, a company like Microsoft or any other software firm has great economies of scale. This is because once the software is made, each additional sale comes at no additional cost. And then there's brand. It's important to present a powerful image to the public of what you represent. But Thiel also reveals that no great technology company has been built on brand alone. So your brand should be there to complement your product. But if you really want to go from 0 to 1, the best piece of advice that you should take from Peter Thiel's book is to think for yourself.